hello to everybody who's tuning in, watching. I appreciate the reputed viewership. Feel free to subscribe, like, hit that notification button, all that sweet stuff. It helps me out. I just like doing this. If it ever becomes like a big thing that I can do as a job, sure, cool, that's awesome, right? But for now, it's just a hobby, and being able to get and reach the most amount of people is, kind of what I want to do. Want to spread the goodness, as they say. um, if you couldn't already tell, the video, the theme, topic today is going to be Helldivers, specifically Helldivers 2. Um, Going over some of the things with the game and the such, the community, things of that nature, just talking about it, giving my 2 cents on it, as it were, as everybody needs to hear that. In the day and age of where everybody's able to give their opinion all the time, and a lot of people's opinions just get drowned out. I kind of like to open the floor for individuals to come and talk about things and share their point of view on matters. So, comment down below as well. Let's start a discussion. Have a have a volley, back and forth. So, just getting into it, talking about the gameplay. The gameplay for Helldivers 2 is really good. I mean, from compared to one, one being the top-down dual stick shooter this is FPS, a first person. Well, it's a third person shooter, but first person is in the game. You can go into first person, and that's nice. This is a shooter through and through. Like, this is what people think when they think modern shooters. It's nice. The strategies are still there. Still call them in the same way. They look amazing. Honestly, I know that that's not the gameplay, but just speaking about it, the game just looks great. Like, I don't think I'm not even running on like high or ultra settings, and the game still looks decent. So that's always a nice thing, right? It's not a needed thing, but it's nice. When a game looks nice and plays nice, it's a great thing, a great feeling. But gameplay, Helldivers 2 still has the same aspect of like the war map and fighting for territory. This grand scale war that you have to fight in, which I still like. I like that a lot, honestly. Um, I'm glad they brought the Illuminates in. I'm glad they brought them in. I was waiting for a while for them to, and they did towards the end of last year. Which, oh yeah, last year. I'm recording this in 2025 now, so yeah, it's been a hot second since the game's been out. But just general improvements overall from the first game. It's like everything is just improved in my eyes. I haven't had a bad experience with the game, not including bugs and other, tech issues. But other than that, like the game itself, like I've thoroughly enjoyed. Um, Even with the nerfs, I will say I still enjoyed the game. Those were rough, mind you, but I still enjoyed it. Which some of you who haven't played it, for those of you who didn't, I mean, you're missing out. It's a great game to play. I recommend it. Always recommend games. They're always fun. They're great. Uh, this game went through a weird cycle of popularity, people hating on it, and now it's popular again, right? People following the popular trends. It's always going to happen, right? But there were some legitimate complaints, nerfs to the game, and a game like Helldivers, you wouldn't expect you to be nerfed at all. You'd expect that to be towards the enemies typically, because that's how you would be able to scale things, you know. But I'm not a game dev, so I'm not sure, not 100% at least. But at least they found out what works for them, which is having all of the weapons and stratagems, support weapons, all of it just be good, and then being able to scale the difficulty with different difficulty settings, and then also changing how enemies' health and toughness works, how armor penetration works. That you can do all that to make it pretty decent. And sorry if you hear me giggle or laugh. I am also currently watching this footage as well, so some of it is just hilarious to me still. I'm playing with a group of friends right here, a few online buddies and one IRL friend. we get together every now and then and play some Helldivers. I play Helldivers a lot. I say a lot, I only have like 130 something hours in the game, but that's a lot for some people, and that's next to nothing for others, right? For me, I like to ensure I'm spreading my time out wisely, you know. While gaming for me is a hobby, it's something I've done since a very young age, and I enjoy doing it. I love it, honestly, just the whole aspect of it. And I'll get into that towards the end of the video, honestly, because that's going to take away from what we're talking about, which is Helldivers 2. So getting back onto that, there's not much to complain about with the gameplay. I wish certain things were different. I feel like some stratagems take too long to call in, especially if you only have like what is it, 40 minutes, 30 minutes in a mission. Half an hour and one of your cooldowns like 7 minutes. That's a bit rough. Granted, these stratagems are strong, they're very powerful, right? So they're gonna turn the tide. I think till we can get, they'll fine tune it. They'll get to that point and it'll be great. Honestly, I love the way this game plays. I love the enemies in it. I mean, going from fighting bots to fighting bugs to fighting the aliens is night and day difference. You would assume like, it would be the same thing. Not really. I mean, yeah, they all have waves of enemy, but they all play so differently. It's not even funny. You would think it'd just be another copy and paste of an enemy. You just reskin it, put it out, boom, easy, right? They put heart and soul into this, right? But so they play very differently. The bugs are swarm horde based. You're gonna get overrun. That's the whole point of it. You're gonna get overrun and just eaten alive. You're gonna get snuck around. You're gonna get flanked. They're gonna get you if you're not careful. You got to be constantly moving. And even if you're constantly moving, you can still get surrounded. You got to make sure you're outflanking the bugs. And certain weapons work better on bugs than they do on bots, and it's just how it is. I mean, it just makes sense though, and I'm glad that's a thing. I'm glad that's in the game because with the bots, they're like an actual conventional fighting force, right? They have air support, they have artillery support, they got mechanized vehicles, they have they have fucking yeah, they have everything. They even have main battle tanks, it seems, airships, Strider factories, the AT-AT type fucking things that create other robots still. The fucking drones in the air. Not even just the airships, but the drones, right? So it's like all of this culminates into this feeling that you are fighting a peer-to-peer battle with the bots. This is literally like people in the game community, within the Helldivers 2 community are likening to fighting the bots like fighting Vietnam, stuff like that, which obviously it's it's hyperbole. It's not, or sorry, hyperbolic. It's they don't actually mean it, but that's like the likeness people can give to it based off of accounts of others, right? Even if they haven't experienced it themselves. So, but yeah, it's crazy. Fighting the bots is you're getting bogged down, shelled. Enemies are getting reinforced, and it's a slugfest. You're just fucking duking it out, trying to find a punch a way through, and it's it's rough. Fighting with bots is rough. I would say, in my personal opinion, I always find fighting bugs easy. Those cakewalk. Bots are so difficult, dude. They're so hard. I'm not gonna lie. I find them more difficult. And with the inclusion of the Illuminates, the aliens, the squids, as they're called within the community, um, they're they're decent to fight. They're a challenge sometimes, but most times it's not super bad. They are tanky as all hell. Besides the cannon fodder, which they turn people into mindless zombies, so they have the horde aspect along with the aspect of being able to shoot at you still. They don't have the same type of flying combat units, but they have dudes in jetpacks with guns. That works still the same, right? It's it's rough. I mean, you can see the gameplay here. It's a different type of fight. You're constantly still trying to maneuver around to flank them, outpace them, but you're also trying to avoid that horde. You're having to slog through certain fights. It's just, it gets rough, and I like it. I like a little bit of difficulty in my games. If you guys don't even know, I've played the Dark Souls series of games. You know, I say Dark Souls series, specifically Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. Not all FromSoft games. I haven't played like the Armored Core games. Um, I didn't. Ooh, I didn't realize there's a cat there. Sorry. um, I didn't play through all of Sekiro. Played some of it. I didn't really like the vibe of it. It seems like it would be good, but not my cup of tea. Bloodborne, loved Bloodborne. Well, that was great. Elden Ring, love Elden Ring. Excited for the new one coming up. The Rain of Fire or something like that. Night Rain. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up, but it's besides the point. I like a bit of difficulty in my game. When this game first came out, the difficulty was in a good spot, in my opinion. It was difficult enough to really feel like, yeah, I overcame this challenge. And then they did the nerfs to like everything. Nerf player resistances, nerf player armor, nerf damage the guns did, nerf range, drop off, all of it. It was just rough. So taking that, overcoming that insurmountable challenge kind of really felt very actually insurmountable at that point in time. It was a night and day difference. And people left the game because of that, because it just wasn't fun. You know, your casual gamer is not going to sit there and just want to have this type of difficulty. You know, come on home from a long day of work and great, now, you know, you're playing one operation and Helldivers 2 is 30 minutes or so. That's a lot of time to sit there and just not have fun. They're not going to do that. They want to just be able to chill, have fun, and goof off, right? Not have to think too hard about it to a certain degree. You know, people are going to be saying, well, there's games out there for them. They can go out there for that. Yeah, but certain games are designed with the casual gamer in mind, you know? The the 9 to 5s, hell, even the 12 shifters, 12-hour shifters, you know? It's games are meant for everybody, or at least most of them should be. I'm in agreement that certain games need to stick to their guns and be difficult if they're trying to be difficult, but it shouldn't be artificial difficulty, right? It shouldn't be difficult because you just made me weaker. It should be difficult because you're making me have to think against something that is just quote unquote smarter or not, right? Because you can program these AI to be fairly smart, to use tactics, things of that nature, and have the players fight against them. You know, you can do that. You can make it difficult that way, but making it difficult by just, hey, this gun that did 100 damage now does 10. Good luck. It's so stupid. I'm always going to say that's just stupid. You know, but the devs learned and they've moved on from that. They've given the players back their agency, so to speak. Um, so being able to just take what you want into a operation, you can, you know, depending on the type of enemy, you might struggle a little bit, but for the most part, every weapon is viable. You just gotta know how to use it, have that type of knowledge offhand, off the cuff. So yeah, nerfs have happened, but the buffs have returned everything back to their normal glory, um, which is nice, and they've added in more weaponry, which is great. They always do. I kind of hate the progression system slightly. And what I mean by the progression system, I mean the war bonds that you can get. And for those of you who don't know, war bonds are like a battle pass for other games, right? You can buy it with premium currency, and you spend other in-game currency to unlock tiers through it to get certain cosmetics or other weaponry, other boosts, things of that nature to just either help you or just make you look a little cooler, make you look unique, give you some personality. Now, super credits are the premium currency, and you can buy them or you can earn them in game. That's nice, right? Everybody loves being able to earn premium currency in a game. You don't have to spend money on it. You can just literally put time into the game and get the same thing. People love that. They love being rewarded for their time. Super credit farming, as it were, was um, fairly easy to do. You could get a lot of super credits fairly quickly, right? Uh, the devs have since nerfed that ability to do so. You can still get super credits, but it just takes a little longer now. And I don't, I get it, right? They have a business to run still. They have to make sure they're able to make money off of this game, right? Which they do. They still do. Don't get me wrong. People do just buy the war bonds because they don't get super credits often enough or worry about getting super credits often enough. Because they just want to start progressing through, right? And I mean, it's like 1,000 super credits, and that's like $7-10, something like that. Which, some people are like, that's too much. It shouldn't be any, what have you. But again, you can earn it in game. It's a little rough trying to, but you still can if you want to. And these aren't weapons that make or break the game. These aren't meta-defining weapons because the meta is to use whatever the fuck you want. The baseline assault rifle carbine that you get is decent against every enemy type. Good ammo capacity, good damage, good fire rate, good recoil control. You can take it in any fight at any difficulty and still do well with it. It's it's nice. The way that they have this game balanced now is pretty decent. Because there could be some sort of energy sniper rifle on one of the war bonds that you can earn. Doesn't mean it's going to be better. It's 100% better um, than the baseline assault rifle, but you can use it still. Use it to its potential. Use it against the enemy type that's probably going to be effective against, and you'll do well with it. You'll be fine with it. But yeah, war bonds aren't game breaking. You get a lot of cosmetics out of it. You get some extra. You even get super credits out of it. You get super credits back from it. So if you did go for free and you get some super credits out of it, you earn some. I think it's like 500 you can get out of there or something like that, which is half of the war towards the next war bond. So if you don't spend it on anything in the cosmetic store in game, you can literally have the next war bond potentially ready to go by the time it gets released. So that's a nice of the progression. It's also a little bit of a negative progression. Other than that, I like the way the samples work to be able to unlock higher tiers of your ship to increase like random buffs to your stratagems. Like you can go through the upgrade to orbital stratagems and anything like that. And it's nice because it's not like super strong. Some of them are really good. Like I know for the airstrike, like the Eagle strikes, getting towards the one where it drops an extra payload, essentially, is decent. It's nice. You get two of them now. Like it doubles it. It just doubles the amount you get essentially. That's always nice. I say doubles. It just gives you one more, but it's still. I mean, depending on the strike, you do only get one typically. I know the 500 kilograms, you only get one, but with the upgrade, you get two. Um, so, and like with the other ones, you get like three or four. Up to 4 or 5. It's an increase. It's noticeable increase, right? Because having that extra airstrike ready to go is always noticeable. That's nice. Same with like the orbital, like tightening of the spread for the artillery barrages is nice because instead of like having this huge dispersion range radius, it tightens it up so you throw it towards a target. It's more likely to hit that target and just somewhat surrounding the target. It gets nice. It gets crazy. Expensive too, to be fair, and it takes a while to get these samples. Like you're hunting these samples, and I know the rare samples are supposed to be rare, but they're not that rare, and it requires less of them to um, upgrade the tiers than it does of the normal and the rare samples. So you know, you're going through. You need like triple to quadruple, fucking feels like quintuple the amount of normal samples compared, honestly, because you're always using them for that. And other than that, I mean, you have like the credits you can get, the requisition slips is what they're called. That's just like the normal baseline in-game currency. Go and buy your stratagems with that stuff. It's nice. There are certain stratagems locked inside of war bonds, which is a little rough, but they're again not stratagems that make or break the game. But then again, it's like maybe increase the amount of super credits you can get just to help edge it along a little bit. You know, Maybe give one super credit per completion of objectives. And when I say objectives, I mean like the operation. There's typically three operations you have to undertake in a sector to complete the sector. So once you complete a sector, say you give them 5 super credits, right? That's legitimately them playing the game for almost 2 hours. That's 2 hours. And if they do it faster, mind you, it's not going to be that long. But averaging, it's going to be 2 hours, right? Maybe you can give them more based off the difficulty, right? So lowest difficulty, you get nothing. Get it up to the medium, most medium difficulty, you give them 2, 3. Highest difficulty, 10, you give them 5 on completion. I think that would be pretty nice, rewarding the players for playing, because on the highest difficulty, you could fail. And if you fail, you don't get anything, which I think is a good risk reward type situation. That, yeah, we got to get these grinded out, get these super credits, because 5 super credits every 2 hours is it's just not a lot of super credits still. I'm not gonna lie. Plus, you could find super credits in the missions themselves, but disregarding that, let's just say you're getting 5 every 2 hours. I mean, it's not great. It's not great. Say you're only playing for 3 hours, you're not even getting 10 super credits, but you got 5 at least. Let's put it into a chunk of like, hey, you're on a weekend, you have nothing to do, you can sit and play for, oh, I don't know, about 10 hours or so, right? I mean that's 50. Simple math there, 50 super credits in a single sitting. Granted, you've played played 10 hours of Helldivers, you might want to, go lose your mind or something, but 50 super credits, right? And it again takes 1,000 to get to the war bond unlocked. Any of the war bonds? So I mean, what 20 play sessions? I want to say 20 something play sessions of doing that where you have a free weekend playing for 10 hours. That's not realistic for anybody, right? But let's just say you got to do that 20 times to get a war bond. These war bonds are releasing fairly quickly. You know, within a span of a year, they released 6, 7. They released quite a bit, right? Within a span of a year, and they're not super big updates, mind you. So let's say like every 3 weeks one is coming out, right? That's still not a lot of time to get things done. I mean, not a lot of time to get things done, honestly. Especially if you got to consider people have other lives, they do other lives, and they have lives they go and do shit, other games that they play because they're not going to be playing the same game all the time, unless they are. Some people do. I know. I'm a variety gamer. I play tons of different games. I mean, you name it, man. I play RPGs, JRPGs, CRPGs. I mean, I play a lot of different games. I play like little party games you can get, like Liar's Bar, you know, uh, Buckshot Roulette. Just simple games you can play with friends that are just quick and easies. Have fun. Ha ha ha. I also play Call of Duty, Battlefield, Minecraft, Cyberpunk, Skyrim, Arma. I play a ton of different games. A lot of them are shooters. I will say I'm biased towards shooters. It's what I started with. I started with Halo. I don't play Halo as much as I used to, but I still play it every now and then. Specifically the campaign. The multiplayer I like playing with friends. I never like playing competitive multiplayers without playing with friends. I like playing games with friends. If that's not apparent, single player games are fine if they're designed to be single player games. But if they're designed to be played with like online multiplayer, I want to play with friends, typically. Um, but yeah, no, like I legitimately, it's rough to progress in this game sometimes. Honestly, they'll get there. They will get there. It's not the worst it could be, right? But that's like saying, yeah, I got stabbed by this fork. Thank God I didn't get stabbed by the knife. It's still got stabbed, right? It's not the greatest, but hopefully they'll be able to figure it out and get fine tune it to the point it needs to be. I have faith. They have shown they have heart and soul and the best interests of their own project at heart. Right? You don't see that so often in this industry anymore. You just don't. I mean, you have game devs that are releasing slop left and right, copy and paste of the same thing, basically. And it's not exactly a copy and paste, right? You copy, paste it, and then you change it up a little bit, give it a fresh coat of paint. Hey, look, the next Call of Duty, you know, it could have its own quirks. It could be fun. Games can be fun, but that doesn't make them good. Games can be good, but that doesn't make them fun. When games like Helldivers 2 is fun and it's good, yeah, no, that is a rarity nowadays. That is such a unicorn, right? Of a game. It's only happening every so often. I mean, what, 2022, right? We got Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 was pretty good. That's not saying there's not other good games out there, but speaking from like a triple A, talking about a triple A studio or just backed studio by big money, because Arrowhead's not like super big of a dev team or company in that matter, but they were backed by Sony, right? They had Sony money on hand. It shows that they had the resources and the fucking passion for this, and it is glorious. They did such a fantastic job with this. And there's been ups and downs, like with every game, right? Not every game's gonna be perfect. There's no way a game's gonna get a 10 out of 10, right? I'm not a game dev. I don't know. I know how I can understand how hard it is to a certain degree. Then there's certain things I just don't know. Like, why is that so difficult to do? Why aren't you doing that like that? I don't know. I'm not in that realm. I play games. I can judge them based off of what I've played, right? Comparing it to other games, other titles that have released. Does that make me an expert? No. But it means I can have an opinion and have an informed opinion on it, right? Somewhat educated opinion on it. But no, they really have something here. They did something. People come back and play this game. People enjoy this game. And speaking of people coming back and playing this game has had a huge resurgence. I see it all the time on like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, everywhere I can watch any type of media. I just always see snippets of this game, whether it be people doing the Boots poem, that seared training poem thing that people have been doing for the edits and whatnot. But you see things like that, and that's another thing I want to touch on actually is the world building with Helldivers. The devs have done it in such a manner that has just been a breath of fresh air. They've included the player base a part of the canon. Like everything the players do, everything that's recorded that you see of Helldivers is canon. The devs have said so themselves. I mean, they even made John Helldiver canon. For those who don't know the whole joke about like protagonist in a video game, oh, that's John, whatever the name of the game is, right? So you have John Halo, that's the Master Chief, John Call of Duty, you know, the protagonist of whatever Call of Duty's out right now. But we have John Helldiver. There is a main protagonist for this game. We're all side characters in this universe. I love that about this, honestly. I love the world building that they have, right? It's immersive. It puts me in the mindset of a Helldiver. And it's weird to say that, right? Like for the longest time, it's been hard to explain to people just how much gaming is immersion based, right? You can sit here and play video games and not really care, like whatever, right? But for the people who sit down and really enjoy video games and play them, they play them for the I think I want to say it for the exact reason I do. I sit down and I let the world building, the story, the music, the atmosphere, I let it envelop me. I let it bring me into the mindset that the game wants me to be in. Yes, I can still influence the game in my own way that I want to, sure. But playing the game the way that the devs want you to, in a manner of speaking, or assume you will, is so nice because you get to experience the game as it needs to be experienced. The same goes for like any type of media, like with movies and TV shows. If you allow yourself to actually fully get immersed and feel what that content creator, the dev, the producer, director wants you to feel, it is that much more of a greater experience. And it took me a while to get to this point within gaming in and of itself because I understand it with movies. But gaming, it took a second because I'm playing with friends, right? I'm talking. Even as I'm talking now, I get the feeling of like intense dread if we're bogged down by artillery fire for the automatons, and we're just getting drop ship and drop ship and drop ship, right? I feel that like, oh, this is rough. Holy crap. Oh my god. Genuine screams, things of that nature. There's a thing that people say like, oh man, all video gamer people who game, they can be great voice actors, right? Because they have genuine reactions to what they're playing. And a lot of people do. Like they will get into the mindset and just allow themselves to be immersed and have fun. Because that's what gaming is. You're supposed to have fun. If you're not having fun, then what is the point of it? Why even do it? I mean, there are certain reasons, certain things that you can say. Why even do it if you don't enjoy it? People don't like going to work. Why would they go to work? Yeah, okay, jackass, smart asses. Counter. You need money to live. That's just the way the world works, right? And the same thing can be said about people who just play games and don't even enjoy them. They just need something to do and they don't know what to do, but that's readily available to them. Versus like glass blowing, they can't go and make do glass blowing classes. That's not offered everywhere. Not everywhere does that. Some people don't have access to that. Most people have access to video games. I say most people, not everybody. It is not a world renowned thing. I would say some people don't have access, and that's unfortunate, right? They, but that's not a priority for them. They have other priorities, and societies where we can have disposable income to be able to do stuff like this, or disposable time even to do stuff like this, it's nice. But that's getting a little deep for this type of conversation. I don't want to go there, so we're gonna bring it back in. Being immersed, being immersed in the game, it's such a great feeling. For those of you who haven't gotten to experience it yet, I'm gonna put this out there for you to just really sit there and try to feel what the game wants you to feel. Don't don't listen to the voice in your head, your inner monologue or inner dialogue or anything like that. Just listen to the game, the music, the sound design. Let it envelop you. Let it take hold and really feel everything about the game. Listen to the way the voice actors speak, the emotion that they're putting out there. Allow it to surround you. And I guarantee you, that's so weird to say. It's like a tongue twister to me, and I don't know why, but I guarantee it will make for a better experience through and through. It always has for me. And I'm not saying, oh, that's the go-to method right there. Maybe you can find your own way to get immersed. Maybe find your own game that you can feel immersed in. Because I'm gonna be the first to admit it. People, I have recently started to get to the point of where I have cried in certain games, just feeling the raw emotion that's coming out of the voice actors and just being in the moment and experiencing it. There's only three games. Three? No, two games and one movie that I've genuinely two movies, two games, two movies. Oh man, that's crazy. It was Ghost of Tsushima. The ending to that. I'm not gonna spoil anything because that's a game I guarantee. If you haven't played it, you need to play it before people spoil it for you. It's so good. It's great. The ending had me crying, bawling, because I could resonate and understand with the character and understand that feeling, and I felt that, and it was intense. With Cyberpunk, because I've also cried for Cyberpunk, it has been Cyberpunk was crazy too, but I see here now that I'm switching gears. So as the video is out, so too will I be out. This is Kaiser Chungus. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Ciao.